All right, hey, what's up, everyone? I'm here. We're back with a stream of figuring out our rhyming dictionary. So I'm really excited to keep working on this thing. It looks pretty good so far. We still got some work to do, of course, and that's what we're doing here today. So I want to get a little bit more. So we need to work on our form. We need to work on, so we need to work on a couple forms. The first one is adding new words, and then anything with general questions, so like a contact us form. So we'll spend some time doing that. I also looked up during the week a way to replace fields, which I think is something that I ran into as a problem last time. So we'll see. We'll take a look at that here in a second as well. So we'll go ahead and jump in, kind of talking about what we did last time, where we have this search bar here. So we did the search plugin, but we do also have this search here where we can hit enter and we can look up words like hello. But we also set up search where we can see what words we have available to us. And I can just click on comfortable and it just works. So now we also got some styles in here as well. So everything's looking much better than it did initially. But now we can go home and we see this as well. So one of the things that I wanted to configure was in our search plugin, where right now in like the entire like admin UI, what would be there, I have this hook to generate a title and a slug for the word, but I would much rather do that in the fields themselves. I guess this isn't terrible, like it would be fine, it works. But what we could do is, let's see if this works. So we have our overrides here, and what we would do is in our fields here, we can, and we'll just comment this out so I don't mess anything up, but we will have a new function open up and we'll do our fields, we're gonna return our default fields.map, and then we're gonna map through our fields, and if name in field and field name equals title, we're going to return field, and then here I guess we'll return a hook, which will do, I don't know what all of this is. I'll finish this up first. So I need to, below here, return field. So now what I do is this before change hook here can go here, and then I want to return and not this, then data. Yep, so all of that's still fine, and then we can add another field, I think. No, we wouldn't be able to with slug. Interesting. Okay, well, I liked how we're doing this anyway. I'm not too worried about it. Well, let me think about this first before I just give up on it. So we have return field if name in field, and so this is saying that if the field is a nameable field, not all fields can take names. So if we run into a field that doesn't have a name, like a row, it would throw an error. Then, oh, I can add more fields, I think. No, fields here, okay. So we have our fields. Oh, I meant to do this in search overrides. Okay, so let's do this differently. So we will take all of this stuff, and instead of that, we'll put this in our search override, where we'll do, this should be fields, and then we take in our default fields, fields, and then that. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, I'm breaking everything. Okay. Now, we return field. I guess this. And then, all right, so. Yeah, I shouldn't have done it this way. Let's just get rid of all this again. And so I have this. Perfect. Okay. So then this needs a return of, we'll say, default fields. And that should get rid of the error. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, in our default fields, we're going to return our default fields and then map, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to map through our fields, and then if name, so again, not all fields take names, so we want to make sure that we have a nameable field and that the name of that field is equal to title. If it is, not promise for sure. If it is, we'll return the field with our hooks, which, again, not field, is going to have a before change, which will be async data rec payload, and then here, const word equals await payload dot, find by ID, collection, word, and then we need our ID, if I could spell, data dot doc dot value. Perfect. And then here we're going to return our word dot word. So that should be it for title. And then if that isn't the case, we will need to return field. Interesting. So am I not able to do this in our search overrides? We should be able to. Type void is not assignable to type field. So that tells me that I'm returning something wrong. Oops, okay, so that still is in there. So if, yes. Okay, return. All right, we'll come back to this here in a second, because I want to make sure that I can still use this field's here, which I just need to uncomment this. Okay, or comment it all again, that's fine too. We will do that there. An object literal cannot have multiple properties with the same name. All right, so the problem is that I am currently still in search overrides. Okay, so that's starting to make sense now. So, so search. We have our fields. I'm going to steal what they're doing here. So we've got our field overrides, yeah. Well, let me go to the file then. There we go. All right, so we have our search fields. Right now I'm working on a rhyming dictionary. It's just a way to associate words with one another, but we're just using PayloadCMS as a backend for an actual app rather than, you know, like a content management system. So right now I'm just working on configuring the search plugin to do what I want it to do, but it works fine how I had it. So I'm actually just going to go back to what I had before. So hit this long old Command Z, which I don't actually have to do. I can just get rid of this fields. All right, and then here, uncomment all of that out. Commented in? Who knows? All right, and then we don't need these curly braces. There we go. Now we can look back at our admin to make sure nothing is broken. All right, look at our words. No, it's not anymore. I'm supposed to be looking at, we look at search results. We still see our title, and that's good enough for me. So now, again, we should be able to just go to our search and have no problem pulling in any of these. So good for me. So now I think it's time to start our form plugin. So we're going to need one for our contact and then one for request a word. So this is going to be, I think, quite detailed because we're going to have to do a few things to make this work. But regardless, I kind of want to try, I haven't done this before, but I want to try breaking out my plugins into their own file. So I'm going to go down to my collections and just create a new TypeScript file. And just call it plugins.ts. And here, I know they do it like this in the payload website example. So I'm going to use that as my guiding star here. So we're going to import our search plugin. We're going to import our SEO plugin. We'll import our, I think that's all we have right now, right? Because I'm not going to have any media, so I don't really need an S3 storage or anything. But we have SEO, we have search, and now we can start with pnpm add at PayloadCMS, and then it's going to be our plugin form builder. We'll let that install, and then if I go to my package.json, I'm going to make sure that this installed correctly. We'll go ahead and update our version here. Form builder 0.35. I think this should be okay though. We'll just do pnpm I to get our NextJS back up to speed. And then if we go back to our plugins file, we'll import our form builder plugin as well. Cool. So I guess, do we need to, yeah, we need to import, I assume it's a type, plug in from payload. I don't actually know if it's a type, but looks like it is. Perfect. All right. So I see we have just about everything that we need. So what we'll do, we're not going to do anything with our generate title or URL for SEO unless I need to. SEO plugin. I might need to, so let's go ahead and do that. Maybe I don't. I'll do it if I need to. All right, but now what we can do is export our plugins constant with a plugin array. Then we need our search plugin and our SEO plugin, which we can just take from here. That's the whole array, so I don't need that, but I can just cut and then paste, see what breaks. Not a thing. Love when that happens. And then we just need to import our plugins from our collections plugins. And that shouldn't break anything. I should just be able to go back to our admin. Oh, well, I didn't start the server. We're fine. Okay, so we've got our plugins. Oh, can I just get rid of this? I can indeed. It's not very clear, but I like it more. All right, pnpm dev. Go to our admin, make sure nothing has broken, make sure all of our packages are installed at the same version. They are not. Okay. So we will also go to our package.json and anything that's 3.33 can be 3.35.0. That's all. And we'll install that in a second. But first, I want to make sure search results all look good. And then in our words, our SEO looks good as well. Cool. So that's all we have right now. We'll do pnpm I to install our dependencies correctly. And now we can go to our plugins again, and we're going to do our form builder plugin. So this will be a lot of fun, I think. All right. So, like we do with everything else, we're going to go straight to, we are going to leave this here, but we're going to go to the docs. PayloadCMS. Form builder plugin. So we've already done that. We've already got it started. All right. And so what we're going to need, we'll need our fields. We'll do text true, text area also true, select. We can do select. We'll select. We'll do false. We don't need the select field. We'll need the email field. We won't need state country. So I can do state false, country false, checkbox, probably keep it as true. Number false, message true, and payment false. I think that's about all. Well, that's all the fields, but I just want to explicitly say which ones we want and which ones we don't want. So that all is good. Redirect relationships. This will be like if we wanted to redirect to an actual like different page. So like you submit the form and you go to a different page. I'm not in love with that kind of redirect. I like when the field submits and it stays. So we'll leave it like this. So before email, the before email property, before change, that is called, but before they are sent. So we won't do our own HTML template right now, but that is something that I want to look into doing. Then we can do form submissions too. So this is if you want to set a different to email. Or a fallback to email instead of like in your email plugin, which we need to configure that as well. This will do a default too. Since I'm not going to, well, I don't have a, I'm just going to let this write to the console for now. Once we get, like if we get this up and running and in a place where it can be deployed, we would do this so we can have an email, but I don't have like a domain or anything for this, so we can't set up our email configuration here. Form overrides. I don't think we need to do anything extra here right now, but we could add our own fields. Now, form submissions. So this is something that I like to change, and I'll show you why. So if I run pnpm dev and let these generate, Boolean at experimental turbo. Hold on, let me next config JS. Expected object. Does turbo have an object now? Okay. Didn't know that had an object now. Anyway, so now we can go to our admin. There are two things that we'll actually want to do is form overrides. We'll want to do, I believe, well, hold on. So form overrides, we need, dang man, form overrides. Then we want to do our admin group form. And then we can do the same thing with our form submission overrides. Do admin group forms. Cool. So in our form submissions though, what we end up getting is just an ID. That's not helpful. So hold on. So let's leave anyway. Let's go create a form. So forms, create a new form. This will be our contact us form, and we'll have, we'll say we need a text box, which will be, we can just do name 50, no default value. This will not be required. Then we're going to use an email, which will be required. Email, and then here we can do message. No, wait. I guess response. Sure. Your message. This will also be required. Selfishly, you should watch me, but you should probably go to sleep. All right, and then submit label button. We can just do something like send message. Then the message will say, thank you for contacting us. We'll get back to you soon. We can add an email, and this will be an email to, we'll just do my email address. And then I won't do anything reply to or anything. Message from, and then here we'll do name, which I did not require, but that's fine. And then you received a message from name. They said message. I think that's what I put. Is it message or response? Response. Okay. So we can save this. And we'll come back and style stuff later. But forms, we got 3 fields. Great, whatever. All right, form submissions. We can create a new form submission. So I guess we still can't. All right, so that means we just have to submit a form to show what I don't like. So the problem is whenever you submit a form, it keeps it by its ID, which is not really a helpful thing. So I like to create like a way for it to take a couple pieces of data together, like name and email or something like that, or like a timestamp, just something that's a little bit more impactful than the message, or not the message, the ID. So we will figure that out here in a second, but the next step in our form builder plugin, we've got our fields here, text area select, is going to be rendering it. So the next part is just getting it to show up. So here, what we'll do, excuse me. We will have a way to words are really hard right now. So I'm going to look at an example at how a form is created. So I know that we have our form block here. And so we are going to work with this. So in our blocks, which do we not have blocks right now? Source app. We don't have any blocks, it doesn't look like. Great, but then I have everything. I have front end, and then within the app I have collections. Nope, it's outside. Okay. So we'll create a new directory called blocks. And in here, we're going to go into our config, and this is going to be a block that we're going to use for our form. So we will create a new directory called form, and honestly, let's just copy this. Yeah, you have a great day too. Sleep well. All right, then new file config.ts add. And then I'm just going to paste this in here. So what this does though, we're going to have our form block here that we're going to be able to put into any of our collections. So in my case, where would I put this? It would need to be in a page collection. So let's create that real quick. So we're going to need our pages. We'll create a file called config.ts. Then we're going to import our collection config. Import from payload will be our collection. Okay, I don't know why my autocomplete's not working there, but whatever. And then we're going to export a const called pages, set it equal to an empty object. But first, this is going to be a type collection config. Then we need our slug, which will be pages, and our fields, which will be an empty array. Then we will have, I don't want to go too deep into this quite yet. So we definitely need, we'll need a type, first type of tabs. And I won't name the tabs, but I can do tabs and then do an array. And then the first one is going to be label of hero, type, not type, and then fields under that. Then under that tab, we'll have our label, which will be content. And then SEO should be put in automatically as soon as I put in that information. So here we'll have our type of text, and then this will be name of title is fine. And then I think that's enough for now. I'm just trying to get started. And then in our content, we're going to have just a field of like a type of blocks. And then in here, we'll do our blocks. Block references. And then underneath this needs to be our blocks for compatibility purposes. So in block references, we can just do our form block, form block. Okay, maybe I have to do form block. Okay. For some reason, like my form block. All right, so this is a new one for me. I need to see what we need to do for this. So we will go to block references. And then we do by string. Oh, okay, so hold on. So we need to add name, and then this is going to be, we'll just put blocks. So why, though, we have our block references, name, type, reference the block by slug, which would be form block. Right, yeah. Okay. If you have multiple blocks used in multiple places, can grow in size. I'm trying to prevent that. To do this, define the block in the blocks array of the payload config. Then in the blocks field, pass the block slug. So maybe if I change this, well, we then need to use blocks, 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 blocks. So in our block config, which we have there, let's just try and move it to form block as the slug. And then let's do payload generate types, pnpm dev, and then we're going to go to our pages collection, which is not, it doesn't exist yet. So we'll come back to that. Payload config, collections, just to make sure there's no block. There is blocks. Okay. So I need to do form block. That didn't import it for sure. And then here we need to do our pages. Okay, so now we can put this back to that slug, have this be a slug. So pages exist now. If I create a new page and go to content, I can add a block, and I see my form block. There it is. It just took a second for the error to go away, so that's fine. All good. All right, so I don't need the form block here. Great. I don't want to look at this gravatar, so I'm going to use avatar, not delete, default. It should be a string. All right, that's better for me. Okay, so now we can add our block. We can add the form block, and it'll be contact us, and we'll enable intro content. This will be contact us today with any questions or problems you might have with our wonderful website. And then this will be contact. So now we just need a way to render the block, which I don't think we don't have a block renderer yet. So that's another good thing here. We will take our block, we'll have a render blocks block. I'm just gonna have this here as reference, and we're just gonna take render blocks.tsx. We'll import, I don't need to get rid of that. We'll import React from React. We'll also get our fragment. Then we'll import our type of page from payload types. And then we only have the one block, which is going to be, oh, we don't have a component for this yet. So we can't do our render blocks yet. Totally fine. All good. So we've got our form. Then we need to add a new, how did they do this? It's just right there. Okay. So we'll have our form and then do a new file called component.tsx. And now here we need to render our form. And so just to show this off though, we're going to create a new page, which is what I just did. This is our contact page. We need a slug. So let me get that in here real quick. So two things, plugin. We need to add our SEO plugin to our pages. And then in our pages, we need in the sidebar, so not in the tabs, we'll do, so we'll do type of text, and this will be name slug, and we'll do admin sidebar true. Oh, admin position sidebar true. Oh, sidebar. I over-engineered that. All right, and so we have our slug here, and we'll actually add it. We can leave it there. But we want this to just be slugified version of that, which I do have my slugify hook, which we can do hooks. We'll do probably before change and then slugify. Which, let me take a look at this real quick. Okay, slugify and then the fallback. How did I already lose this? Okay, fallback will be our title. You can save that. If I refresh, I actually may need to resave, but that's okay. Easy enough. There's our contact. Great. So now we have our slug. So then here, let's do admin use as title, and this will be our title. There we go. Got title, we got slug. We don't need blocks or the SEO part, so I'm going to do our default columns and get just title and slug for now. We'll have more, I'm sure, but that's all we really need to see. All right, so now what we'll do is we're going to go to our app front end. We're then going to have we have a page.tsx already. This is completely different than what we're going to do because we're not going to have a home page here. Our home page is a search bar. Totally fine. So we'll do a directory, which is going to be a slug. And then we'll have in here a page.tsx. Then we'll just export a default, we'll say async function called page, and then we'll do const payload equals await get payload. Okay, config. So we'll import all that. Import get payload from payload. Import config from payload config. All right, so right now I'm having to memorize too much. I think I'm going to restart my PyCharm real quick, and hopefully that fixes things. So here, let's quit. I know I have a new version also for PyCharm available, but I'll do that later. All right, so we've got that back up and running. Do pm just in case, and then pm dev. Now we can get our page by doing const. Do I have? I don't remember how I did this. Did I do? Yep, I did. All right, so we're just going to take this as our example because we'll be working through caching eventually. So we're going to do query page by slug. We'll do our page, override access sure, slug equals slug, returns one document. And we should be good there. So then we can const page equals await query page by slug, with our slug being from our params. So we're going to need a type args equals I believe it's just a promise, and then in here we'll have our slug, should be a string. I have a feeling that's wrong, but we'll see here in a second. So we've got our params, which will be params promise as args. Oh, right. So then we do params. And then we can get const slug, not from payload, equals await params promise. I think this might need to be out here. I always forget how this is done, but I should have it here. Okay. So here we can bring this back to this. And then we take all of this here. There we go. And then I can put slug in here. Okay, so slug though. We'll just say that slug has to have a value. Okay, so then we can do res dot. Oh, it's already there. Okay. So now we can return, we'll say a main, which will have a div for our hero, which will have an h1, which will be our page dot title. And then below that, we'll have, just for now, our div. And then we'll have our page dot blocks 0 block name, just so it shows up. There we go. All right, and so now we can go to our contact page. Cool. I don't see a block name, so let's put in block type instead. Perfect, we have form block. Great. So what we can start doing now is we could just build out the form itself. Now there is an example already with how Payload does it. I'll take some of that example, but I am going to do some of this on my own because the component, well, it's going to be a use client component, but we do know that we need in our form, we're going to need our, how do I want to do this? Well, we can do our fields, then we need, well, I don't think I need, yeah, no, I can, we'll do fields, and then we'll do, in our fields, we'll have an input.tsx, and then we're going to have a new submit button.tsx. And then I guess I'll need a new text area.tsx because that's going to be different from an input. So in the input though, we can do export const input. It's not going to take any props, at least not yet. And then we can return a div, which will have, ooh, what am I doing? Return a div, which will have a label and an input. And then in here, we are going to need a few things. We'll need a name, a type, a label, name, type, label. Don't think we'll need default value. I don't think we need value either, but so let's start here. So here we can do a label, and let's do a type input props. We'll have name as string, type as string, label string, and then here input props. Okay, so then we have our input, which will have name, type. Value is not going to be label, but we can do placeholder, where we might want to do a custom placeholder. So we'll do yeah, so we'll do a custom placeholder question mark string. We can do placeholder, and then we can do if that placeholder exists, we'll return the placeholder. If not, we'll just do an empty space. All right, so we have our name, we have our type, we need our ID, which will also be the name. Label will be HTML4 name. And that should be about all we need here. So just to show again that we're making an example. So we're going to do our form. And the form's not going to do anything yet, so we won't worry about any kind of functionality. But we're going to get our input from our form input. And then the name will be, let's get the form real quick. So from the page, we should just be able to get form from page. Okay, or not. Blocks const form equals blocks. Still no? All right, well, let's see what we get. We get blocks dot, oh. So right now we just have the one, so we're okay to do form equals blocks 0. All right, so we have our blocks, do 0. Yeah, that should be right. So we'll do here, better idea. We'll go ahead and map it just to make this all happy. Blocks, map, block. Of course, this is not going to be right, but that's okay. Blocks, and then we can do block.form. All right, I know I'm over-engineering this right now, but it'll come in handy here soon. So in our contact page, let's go ahead and log our blocks because we want to see what the data is like. So in our blocks, we have our form block, so that's in space 0. And then we have our form.fields. Okay, so let's continue breaking this down. So we'll have our form as form block. Or I guess type form then. Either way, from payload types. Great. Whew. All right. So we now have our form like this. Or however this is supposed to go. Okay, so now we can do const form. And now instead of mapping the blocks, we can just take our form. So good for me. Okay. Now we can do form. Oh, we do need to map our fields though. So we can do form.fields. Excuse me, map. Then we can do field index. Lots of stuff happening there. Okay, so we can go up to put our input in. Then we need to put our key and have this be index. We can do field dot Okay, that's definitely not it. All right, so field name string. Okay, we could just do field. Property type is missing in type, but I get type from here, right? Oh, they call it block type. So type equals form dot, or sorry, fields block type. Okay, I understand now. So what they have, so we need our required fields here. And then in here we have field dot block type, field dot block name, then label should be field dot so label string block name block type. All right, let's see what we get though. We get our name, our email, and our message. So that is something, because we get our label too. Oh, thank you for saying that. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm glad that the tutorials are helpful for sure. Field.label. Yeah, so this is weird why label doesn't show up. And this is how the tutorials get made. I just struggle through how stuff happens and then it happens. Here then we also need required equals field required. If I go back to input, we need to add required boolean required. Okay, equals required. So I need to look at a few things here. So first of all, we need to see how they use their labels. So we're going to go back to our blocks, go to our form, go to our component. And so we have our form, so great. Import fields, form type. So if field, okay, so interesting. I know I don't really need to reinvent the wheel, and so maybe I shouldn't. And I should just take what they have for their fields here and then design my own components. Just sometimes I feel like brute forcing it makes sense, but I'd rather just do this then. So in our form component, we're going to take all of this. We'll go to our component and we'll just take all of it. And so now we don't have a rich text component, which we will need to fix. We don't have a UI button, but I have a submit button being made. So let's actually start there. So their button, if I can go to it, if I copy this, then we go to our submit button. This is not it. Button. From components UI button. Source, components, UI button. All right, so we got a few things going on here. I haven't used Radix before. Maybe I should. Yeah, let's give it a shot. That's what these are for. I'm experimenting. So let's do pnpm add at Radix UI. Okay. Radix components. Get started. pnpm. Oh, I don't want themes. I want maybe primitives. Yep, this is what I wanted. So I'll leave that how it was. But anyway, so pnpm add Radix UI, which was not. Okay, let's try React slot. Okay, so we've got that in there. So now let's go back to our source, utilities, UI, and grab this, put it into our utilities. So we'll do a new UI.ts, add. And then I guess we need to install these as well. All right, and so this is just some UI stuff. It's not necessarily payload specific. It's just how PayloadCMS runs there, or like the template from here. So I'm just messing around with how they run things. But regardless, this shouldn't be messing up anything in my project, and really will only apply to, the form that I'm creating. So it'll be pretty easy to replace styles as we go. All right, but we got our button done. So let's get rid of this real quick. So get rid of all of that. We have our page, we're good to go there. So now we don't need that. We've got our button. Oh, I need to go to our form component. So our button is going to be from submit button. But it's going to be blocks, form, fields. Okay, React hook form. Need to install that. They get all their fields from a fields file. Let's go ahead and get the rich text one together. So source, components, rich text, index. And we can add that to our components as well, which we don't have a components folder either. So let's do a new directory, components, then a new directory, rich text, then a new file index.tsx. Go ahead and add it, and we got to get rid of some stuff in here. Like we don't have a media block. We don't have any of these blocks. We do have, we can do a, let's do form block as form block props. That's really the only block that we're gonna have for a while. Here then we need to get our form block from our blocks form component, which is still all kinds of messed up, but that's okay. Don't need that. Get rid of all those types and do form blocks. Was this supposed to be the props? Yep, all props. Oh, that's good. Do I have this? I don't think I have this, but anyway, so form block. Get rid of all of these. Do form block, get rid of the class name. Okay, maybe non-null value. All right, we'll come back to this, I think. Yeah, definitely come back to that. Anyway, we have our props. Cool. We don't use gutter or prose, so we can get rid of all of that. Okay, get rid of those as well. Great, so rich text should be good, except I don't have this anywhere, so where did this come from? Oh, it's already built. It's built in this file. Perfect. All right, so don't have to worry about that either. Great. So our rich text should be done except for this enable intro thing here, which they don't have the form coming through this maybe. Oh, I don't think they do. So we're actually just going to remove all of our blocks. Don't need that. Don't need it in our types. We don't need it anywhere. So we'll just do the default node props here and have at. Didn't I just make a components folder? I put it in the wrong place though. No, that's right. Components. It's an app. Okay, so put it in source. Then this should be fixed. Okay. And now they do their fields here, where I can do fields. Let's rename this as fields and do an index.tsx. We go to our source, we go to our blocks, we go to our form, we go to our, oh, they just do fields.tsx outside. So let's do that instead. We can call this one rename fields. Bam. Then in fields we can, here we need to do a few things. All right. So before we're done here, we can go back to our form block, component, don't need that. Oh shoot. Oh, no, this should just be field. This needs to rename back to fields, even though I think I'll get rid of that. And then this can rename to fields and fit in there. And then the get client side URL. Yeah, we can grab that as well. So hold on. Fields.tsx. Doesn't have anything yet. All right, and so the get server side URL has a few things. I do this in, so I have my redirects video that goes over how to do the server side URL. I have a new video coming out on live preview that goes over the get client side URL. So again, I'm just going to copy and paste this. I mean, really, I'm just here to experiment with the stuff that is available to me. And as long as I get the video, not the video, the form rendering by the end of the video, I'm happy with that. All right, so back in our utilities, we'll do a new get URL.TypeScript file. Get all of this. We need to get our can use DOM. And so I do go over this in other videos, so I'm not going to talk too much about how this works. You can watch my redirects video for this, and then in the first week of May, I've got my live preview video coming out that goes over the client side. So we'll go to can use DOM. Maybe. Okay, either way. Let's go up here, can use DOM, go to utilities, new file, can use dom.ts. And this is making sure that the DOM is available for this utility function to run. So that fixes that. Now we need to get our fields. And so this is where, like, I'm pretty good with Next. I'm real good with Payload. With React and like the different things you can do with JavaScript, that's where I get a little fuzzy, which is why I like to hang out in their Git repository to go through all of this stuff, because I know how to read through all of it. But they just come up with really creative ways to make all of this happen. So that's why we're in here. But so we've got our form, and I know I'm gonna want, let's do this the command line way. So we'll change directory to blocks, nope, to source, to blocks. And then I'm going to make dir of, we'll need a checkbox, we'll need email, we'll need an error, we need message, we need text and text area and width. So that makes all of our directories there, and then I can go up back to our main level just so I have it. All right, and so then we have our submit button that I'm going to leave here, but then text area we can rename to index and put this in text area. And then I'm just going to copy this and put it into our text, our message, which I don't actually know what I need to do with that, our error, our email, and our checkbox. And now we'll start with checkbox because I think this is going to be the easiest. Well, I say that, and then here we are. So let's start actually with our width, because this is going to help us with our styling. So I'm just going to copy this, get it put into, oh, I didn't create a width index.jsx, or tsx rather. All right, and so what we just did is we have everything imported from React. That way we can use our React.functional component, which takes children, class name, and width, and then exports the constant width, which we can now set as a way to get our width value that's in our actual, I can't open the admin dashboard right now, but we can set a width for the field within our admin dashboard. So I can copy this, and now a few things are going to break. Man, I need to wrap everything. All right, so we have a label, which honestly, if we do our label, yeah, let's do it right. All right, so we'll go, okay, so what we're going to do our form, or sorry, our email next. We're going to get all of our form fields right. So let's just do this real quick. Form, email, we need error next. Copy this. Yeah, I definitely need to do a video on how to do the form. There's just a lot of different parts for. This might be a two-part video, like not this live stream, but I'm going to get the form up and running tonight. But it just seems like the configuration will be one video, one tutorial video, and then the actual rendering of it's going to be another one. But we will figure this out together. So next is text. And then after this will be text area. And then there's going to be a few things that we need to fix for all of them, which is going to be our UI. So we'll go into our components. Then we'll have a new directory called UI. And then the first thing we'll add to that directory is going to be our label.tsx. Now we can go to our form, we can go to our components, we can go to our UI, and we'll go to our label, and we'll copy that and get our label. And then here we can install Radix UI React label. And so this is just going to have some styling for everything that we need there. Then we can do our text area next. So we'll do a text area.tsx. Whoops. File text area.tsx. Paste this. Text area should be good now. And then we go to text, which is going to need an input. So we'll take, I went too far, UI. we need to get our input, and then in UI here we can do a new input.tsx. Great, get that wrapped. All right, so there's a lot of styles that I'm going to change in this, but we'll come back to this in just a second. Because again, I'm just trying to get this rendered. We'll get into the fine tuning here later. So I know I don't need pagination. I have input, I have label, I can do checkbox. So let's do a UI, do a new file of checkbox.tsx. Then, oops, I will need to get our React checkbox from here. And there's a check from Lucid React. I mean, I don't think I anticipate using a checkbox, but I want to have it just in case. And then, oh, what did I miss in here? No, the input's there. Okay. Don't need a card, and I have a button elsewhere. So if I go to our component now, we can go to our fields.tsx, which I think should just be a TypeScript file, but we'll see here in a second. We'll go source, we'll do blocks, we'll do form, then we'll go to our fields, it is .tsx, and we're going to import so inform. Okay. There's another thing to do here. So we got our form. Instead of fields, we're going to... Oh, wait, no, that's what I just did. Okay. So I want to keep submit button. So let's go back to... We can delete input because I'm not going to use that. Delete anyway, and I think that's going to mess up something in my page. Will. Okay, I don't need those either. All right, so we'll go back here. What did I mess up here? Nothing. Okay, I just needed to open it again. All right, so now we can go into our fields, and we're going to just, again, copy all of this, paste it. We don't have state or select or number or country, which means we don't have country here, or state or select here, or number. So I'm in blocks, right? Yeah, blocks. Oh, so I need to go. All right, so first we want to put checkbox, email, error, message, text, text area, and width. All of this needs to go into the form refactor. And now that should fix all of these, I believe. It should, but anyway. So let's do pnpm dev real quick, because this actually should be right. And then in our component, open that up. And I don't have enable gutter, so I can get rid of that. Save. And let's go ahead and refresh. This, okay. Yeah, it just needed a second. All right, so now what we can do is go to our page again. And, oh, yeah, we have our render blocks, but we haven't created it yet. So again, I'm just going to steal this blocks, render blocks, paste. This is going to, nope, let's wrap things. Then what we'll do is import type. We have page, yep, okay. So we're going to import, we do have form block. So we have our form block. We don't need any of that. Then we have, again, our form block, media block. So we don't have our, I think it's just gonna be this then, right? Yep. Oh, blocks. Okay. Save this. Then we go again to our, yeah, I don't know what these errors are. Let's think about this real quick. It has, oh, here. Oh, all right. So let's take another look at this real quick. So instead of just outright getting rid of this, what does this need to be? It should be blocks, right? Then is it not this? There we go. All right. Cool. So now we're in our contact page, and we can go over to our pages. We're going to get our render blocks, and our blocks are going to be our page.blocks. I can save this, and we get our form here. All right, so we did the part that I wanted to do. We have the form, it's available. I wonder if we do our local host, then admin, then we can go to our forms, contact us, and then we can do 50 here as well, then refresh. Okay, so a couple things. These don't stack. And Safari's been letting me down a lot recently. So we'll need to figure that out. We want to go to our submit button because I do see here there are quite a few styles that I don't have. So yeah, we'll come back to that just a second. But yes, all right, so we'll have to figure out the width thing. Let's go ahead and do our button first. So what we're going to do, default is going to be BG. So anywhere that primary is there, we know what our primary color is, and that's going to be our violet. Okay, and then text is going to be, or I wonder if I should do this. Nope. All right, and then hover. That looks right. And then I want to do, apparently the button default is not supposed to be a pointer, but it just feels so wrong to me to not have that. Anyway, ghost PG destructive. I don't know when destructive would be used, but anyway, our secondary color is going to be emerald. And then we'll say 950, text emerald 50, BG emerald 950, border BG background. Okay, so a few things that we don't have access to, but that's, or we don't have created, but we could do this very easily we could do this very easily by just adding new variables into our Tailwind config, but I don't think we need to do that. But we can do class name, and we can do our class of, we'll say MX auto, or let's do instead, we can do flex and then justify center, get it centered. All right, so then what we'll want to do in our fields, so we can go to our form, I think, yep, form component, and then in here, We'll go into more detail about what all of this stuff is, but for now, can I do a placeholder? I don't think so. That's okay. I don't need it. So, yes, we have this that we need to get onto the same line, and then we have a message, but we can test this now. I can just do Nick and then do @midlowwebdesign.com. This is my message, and then down in my console over here, we see, hold on, email attempted without being configured to here, subject, you've received a new message from name, but name maybe I'm not supposed to put a space here. Let's try that. And refresh. Okay, testing 1, 2. Send message. Yep, there we go. Okay, so there's no space there. But now I've got the message here saying thank you for contacting us. We'll be back. We'll get back to you soon. If I refresh again, I do have contact us today. All good. Everything looks great. There's a few styling things here and there, but the thing that I meant to show from the very beginning, so forms is definitely going to be another. We're gonna have to finish this. But see, the ID here is all that's available, and so I would much rather have like the name and the email, or like the date created, and have that be what's there instead of just the title. So I want to see if I can do this with a hook real quick and then call it a night here. So we'll go to our plugins, and then in our plugins we have our form builder plugins, and then our form submission override. We're going to do a hook and see what we can do with is a hook going to work, because this is something that's created somewhere else. So what I can do instead is we need to create a new field where we're going to have a new field of type text, and then we will have the name be just title. Yeah, that should work. And then we will yes, admin group. We'll need use as title, which is going to be blank for now. Why isn't this fields working? Oh, because I need our default fields. And then so if I refresh this, we'll get title put in here. It should be at the bottom. There it is. Let's actually put this at the top though. Okay. So now we need to generate the title, which I am going to try this. So let's do a hook where we're going to have a before change hook, and this is going to be an async with our data. That should be all I need. And then in this, we'll need our, we can return data dot data dot, we'll do created at let's do it this way, if data, not date, data. Created at, and then we will do I don't need the form, submission data, so we can do message from no idea if this is going to work, but submission data index data submission data. I don't know if this is actually how you use index of, so I'm not going to use it that way. And then name should always be first, and we're going to take out the value. All right, let's see if this works. So if I go to edit, I refresh. Okay, no. Let's log our data. Oh, I would need to resave it. So, maybe after read. There we go. Perfect. So I see message from me at this time. I could do at, and instead of the default date string here, I could do created at, and then do to ISO string. Okay, maybe not that. Okay, so we can do to locale string. Okay, let's see what that looks like. All right, so let's then do to locale string JavaScript. Then I want to do our enus. Time zone, I guess. And then I get, what is it? America, New York. Let's see what works here. Yeah, I think I'm trying too much, but I'm gonna make this work because I don't want gibberish for my label here. I need it to make sense to me. Refresh. Okay, so all right, I need to figure out, so how to locale, probably just string, right? Yeah. Then I can do enus. Then time zone. We can try, not time zone. All right, So I think I just need to do let's do one more thing here. Do UTC. And I'm not getting the expected. So let's do okay. So new date. From there, and then I should be able to do America, New York, I hope. Nope. Let's just do EST. Okay. But it's actually EDT. Is there a way to do this with daylight savings? I know we're getting real deep now. Okay. Maybe I can just do EN US and just take the time that way. Okay, perfect. So now we can do, instead of this, get all that junk in there. We can figure out daylight savings later. Refresh. And I can see message from me at this time, and it's there as well. So now if I go back here and try again, emails can be the same. We can hit send message. We can see that the email was sent in quotations. The email doesn't exist. And then we can go back to our form submissions and see that we see message from my name is Nick at that time. Perfect. So I think this is a great place to stop. We got a form up and running, and for the most part, it is functional. We'll want to do another form, which actually, let's create it real quick. Why not? So we can do a form and do create new, and this one is going to be a word request. It'll have a text of word 50% required. A name here of email required. Submit word. Thank you for submitting a new word. We will get it up soon. Add email to me. Can go to other people though. Reply to doesn't matter. New word request. Word. Yep. All right. Please check if you have word already included. If not, add it and message back. I can hit save, and now we've got a word request, which we can add to our word page by using our form component. So let's go to our word. Let's do 50. And also in our form builder plugin, because we want to enable, like we would want to put a description in form submission overrides, form overrides. I would like to have a way to put a description in, but I don't think it's the end of the world. We could add, I think, a custom field or something, but anyway. We can then go to our Word page, and then down at the very bottom where it says we don't have that word here. Somewhere. Oh, contact us. And here we can do our form block component. Do true. No, we'll do false and then form. So we'll have to add it to our word collection as it is. So let's go back to our to-do list because we're not done. But we are wrapping up this one. So we are going to, we still need to add, well, we added the plugin and we added a contact form for general questions, but now we need to style contact form, handle width of 50% in fields. Beyond that, we, for adding new words, need a way, or I guess let's just do add form to words collection. And I think that'll be a good place to pick it up next time. So we'll figure out a way to add form to the words collection, which I think we just need to add a blocks field or a relationship field or something like that. But it's not going to be too difficult, and it's just going to have, oh shoot, I don't want to add it to every single form or every single word though. I could just do default value. Should be fine. And then we need to do the style, the contact form, because as we can see here that this is supposed to be a 50-50 split, and actually what I'm going to do is show in Chrome because my Safari developer tools have been moving so slowly. That wasn't supposed to show up there, but anyway, let's go ahead and get all of my windows open. All right, so here we can do right half, and then we can go to our contact, and in here what should be happening is these should have, so max width of 50% here, and then the other one I have, the email field here, like I want these to be 50-50, so it should be more like I guess do 49%. Okay. Yeah, so this is the kind of stuff, like I don't know why this isn't quite working like it needs to. If I do class equals width of 1/2. Okay, actually, so we should just do width of 50%, and then here the same thing, width 50%. like these should be on the same line now. Unless I need to do something like display inline block. Same thing here. Display inline block. Yep, there we go. So we would do then probably display flex, and then in here we can do flex shrink or grow shrink 50%. And then same thing here, do flex and then inside do a gap for oops, going in Tailwind there, gap of 1 rem. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what we'll end up doing on the next one, but we just got to figure out how to then meld this form into what we really want it to be. So that's going to take some time. I'm out of time, so I'm going to call it quits here, but I want to thank everyone for watching, who a lot of you stayed the whole time, so really thankful for that. And of course now hitting the highest peak viewers here, but I do have to wrap up. I do have to get out of here. But what we did do, we got done with our form, so we see it here. We styled it a bit. We kind of worked through some of the intricacies of it. We will go in deeper detail with each thing because I did take a lot from just what PayloadCMS, their team did. So we'll come back to that in a little bit more detail next time, and we will also fix the form to show what I just showed, where the field of 50 or the field width of 50% is respected, because we need that to happen. So again, thank you. Make sure you're subscribed, like this if you liked it. I know it's mostly just me struggling and messing around with what the code can do, so it's always fun to do, and I learn a lot when we do these. Thanks for those who engaged. Share the content if you want. I had a tutorial release yesterday, which was my admin configuration, like advanced admin configuration options. So that one was a good one on PayloadCMS. I had one today for Tailwind, which I think was attribute selectors. Next week, I have authentication coming out. So we have access control first, and then the next week after that, the 29th, I have an 1.5 hour long tutorial on how to use server actions to do an entire auth flow for a customer's collection, so a new user's auth collection. So really excited for that one to come out, and I hope you guys enjoy that one as well. And then I have another Tailwind video, and then I'm going to start bringing in some NextJS stuff as well. So I'm excited for some of the stuff that's coming out. I'm just trying to keep up with the demand right now. So really appreciate y'all. Again, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.